In this new video in which you are going to see how I work with PostgreSQL in Go. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some simple workflows that I use to integrate PostgreSQL with my Go hobby project, which is called Vauban, and you can find it live on GitHub. So if you want to see the actual code explained in this video, feel free to take a look at this open source project, AGPL license. Note it's a AGPL license, but I won't show you if you copy paste some code explained in this video. So don't worry about that. It's just boilerplate stuff. Don't worry too much. You can just copy paste everything you will see in this video, and even what you will see in this repository for now, right? Okay, and so in this video, we are going to cover stuff like database driver setup, migrations, how I use the repository pattern, and how I see my database. That's the plan, actually. That's a good plan, I think. I hope you will find some value in this video. If you have any question, feel free to reach out in the comments or in the Discord server. So you can find this blog post in the description if you want as a reference. And we are going to start. We're going to start with the database driver. So in Go, you access SQL databases with a driver. So you've got drivers for MySQL, for SQLite, for plenty of SQL databases, and for PostgreSQL, there are plenty of database drivers. And one that I actually like is the one from Jaxi. It's called PGX. So it's live on GitHub, so you can check out the documentation for it. And it's very popular. It's very liked from the community, actually. Very used. It's used by plenty of projects. Here you can see it, about 10,000 open source projects. It's a lot. It's very used. It's very mature. It's been years since it's been in development. Here you can see the license from 4 years ago, and even probably older than that. Anyway, you can find it on GitHub. It's a good database driver. It handles stuff like pull connections, concurrency, everything you will ever need, I believe, in PostgreSQL. Tons of features. You can find it on GitHub, right? So that's what I'm going to use. I use the PGX pool, so make sure you use PGX pool in a web application because, requests are ran concurrently. And with concurrency in mind, you will need this PGX pool in your project, right? So let's see how it looks like in my code base. Again, it's live on GitHub. Feel free to take a look to let us start to the depot. And so here is how I use it, actually. So I just define the context. I pass the connection string. And for the connection string, actually, it matches some Docker container that is running on the background with Docker. So in this project, I've got some Docker Compose file that for now only runs some PostgreSQL service. With some DB user password environment variables. So it's live and running inside of here in my in Hopstack. And to run it, I actually make use of a makefile. So for my makefile, actually, I've got something like db up and db down. So I just have two commands. I can just do a make db up, it's already running, or db down if I want to turn it down. So very handy, very practical. You can copy paste it in your project, no problem. I think it can be valuable. Okay, and so that's what is matching with the connection string. Then I ping the database to check whether we are successfully connected. And then I can pass the DB pool to my router and to my repositories, etc., etc. So let's get back a little bit to migrations. So we talked a little bit about the database driver, and now let's talk a little bit about migrations, right? So I run migration with a tool developed by the guy from PGX, right? And it's called Turn. I believe it's pronounced this way. I hope so. Uh, and it's a simple tool. It only works for PostgreSQL, I believe, but it's a simple tool that works pretty well and that lets you to run migrations with a simple CLI. Let's take a look how it looks like. So I've got again some makefile, and I've got two commands. Well, in fact, three. Ah, I've got three commands. One to run the migration. So my migrations are actually defined in the database migrations folder. So inside of here, you can see it on the left. And migrations look like that. They are divided in up instructions. They are just above the comment. And then you've got some drop instructions that are below the comment, right? And so if I get back to my makefile, so my two commands inside of here, they just allow me to migrate my database. So I think my database is already migrated, so I'm going to delete the everything. And then I can do hop. And hop, as you can see, just run SQL from the migrations. Migrations are sorted by name, I believe. So you can just you can just figure out how they are sorted very easily, right? And I even have some commands that run first down and up. In development, it can be very useful. Just never use that in production, right? It's just going to delete all the databases, just going to run all the drops stuff inside of here, and can give you a clean database, right? So if you do migration fresh, it's all freshed up, right? So that's it for running migrations, right? Here you can see my makefile, my complete makefiles, or plenty of stuff. I've got some command to set up the dependencies inside of here, can be interesting to you. So I install Turn, I install Reflex for hot reload. It would be another video, but it's very useful for hot reload. And then I install the dependencies, right? Okay, so here we are. And now let's see how I structure actually my queries, right? My SQL queries. Well, if you take a look at my router inside of here in router.go, it's easy to find. Actually, I define repositories. So a repository is a simple structure in my case that wraps all the queries, all the SQL logic. And then I pass these repositories to my controllers. And so my controllers actually call this thing to do SQL stuff, right? So my controller do not have SQL logic inside of controllers, right? It's all in the repositories. It's all in the repositories. So here is how a repository look like. So I define an interface for a simple reason, which is that I want to implement in the future some test user repository. So it's way simpler if I do an interface, and then only then I can implement the struct that will implement this interface, right? So then I just define a struct, and this struct is basically going to wrap all the logic, all the SQL logic. So here you can see an example with store. So I pass it a model. So here is a model. just like that. And the model is just a struct, a Go struct. And to this Go struct, I just pass all the data I retrieve from SQL, right? And so in this case, I just insert a user, right? And I return the ID, the created that, and updated that. Since it comes from the database, it doesn't come from Go. And the rest I already have. I already have first name, last name, email, because it's passed to this function, right? So this is the first example where I create a user record in my database. And here I've got another example where I just retrieve a user. You can check it out. It's all on GitHub again. And just doing some simple SQL query, we pass it to Go, and then we handle the errors and stuff like that. And it's all a repository look like. It's very simple. Very, very simple. So that's it for repositories. If I were to create new repositories, I would just copy paste this and adapt everything to my new tables, right? Something that people tell me all the time is, how do I handle transactions? It will be another video. For now, I do not have any transaction in my code base. Maybe in the near future, we'll just do transaction stuff with SQL. Okay, so we covered it. And then we've got finally the database seeding. So what is database seeding? Basically, it's just a simple thing. It just consists in putting some fake data in your development environment, right? Excuse me. And so I've got some main.go for a seed, so I can just run go run cmd seed, just like that. And these values are bad, actually. Let's fix it live. Okay, so my database is seeded. And so all it's doing basically is creating some fake values. So in my development environment. And so we can take a look in the seeders folder. So here I've got an interface which defines how a seeder actually look like. And then I've got the user seeder. And so this user seeder is just very simple logic. It's just a function that inserts plenty of users in my database, just one by one. And it can be very handy to have this in development. It's very easy to access to actual data, actual fake data. But yeah, it makes it very easy. So if I have to log in, I can just take this and this and put it to my form, and everything is going to work, right? So basically, you can copy paste this in your database. Here you can see how I define my seeders. One by one, I run them. I basically run seeder.seed with a context, etc., etc. It works pretty well. I think it's very handy. I love this workflow so far. I even have some make commands for seed. I can just run make seed. And yeah. So that's it for this video. I hope I gave you some ideas about working with PostgreSQL in Go. If you have any question, feel free to reach out. I'm currently looking for a job, so if you have some recommendation, feel free to give recommendations to me. It will be much appreciated. And see you in another video. Bye.